Hi everybody, and welcome to Module 4. In our last module, we learned about chromatic and diatonic semitones. We also learned about whole tones and enharmonic notes. Today, we're going to move on in Module 4 to learning about notation and a little bit about rhythm. How you write your notes is very important. All of our notes have three very important parts. We have the note head. Now the note head is what's going to tell you what the pitch is. You have a stem, and in some notes you have a flag or you have a tail. The actual note head, which is the round part of your note, it may be black and it may be white. It depends on the duration of the note. All notes have to have a head. If they don't have a head, you have no idea where to play them. The note heads are always written in a space or in a line. Most notes also have a stem. The stem is usually about 3 spaces long, and it's connected to the note head. What's important to remember about the stem is which direction it goes. In music, the stem is going to make the letter D or the letter P. When the stem goes up, it's going to be on the right-hand side of the note head. If the stem is going down, it's going to be on the left-hand side of the note head. Remember what I said, D's and P's. No Q's and no B's. D's and P's. The direction of the stem is normally determined by where the note head is on the staff. If the note head is below the third line, then the stem is going to go up. And remember, the stem is going to be on the right-hand side of the note head. If it's above the third line, the stem is going to go down and it's going to be on the left-hand side of the note head. It's making the letter P. If it's actually on the third line, the stem can go in either direction. It can go either up or it can go down. A flag or a tail is used when we have 8th notes or 16th notes, 32nd notes, any note that's of shorter value than a quarter note. The flag is always on the right-hand side of the stem. It doesn't matter if the stem is going up or if the stem is going down. The flag is always on the right-hand side of the stem. Only black notes can have flags. The flags are for 16th notes and 32nd notes and 8th notes, so they have to be colored in. And depending on the value of the note, you could have 1 flag if it's an 8th note, 2 flags if it's a 16th note, 3 flags if it's a 32nd note, and 4 flags if it's a 64th note. We won't go any further than that. How's that? And that's even further than what you need to know at this level. As you know from playing music, all notes have a duration. What this chart is showing you is the duration and the rest as well that goes with the specific note. At the top of the slide, you see we have a whole note. It only has a head. There is no stem or there is no flag for the whole note. When you draw the whole rest, it hangs from the 4th line, and it uses about half the space of that 3rd space. It's wrong if it hangs from any line except the 4th line. Don't ever draw a line and then your whole rest. When you see your whole rest written separately away from music, sometimes you see a line. That's to show you the 4th line. When you're writing it on the staff, that line is there so you don't have to draw another line. The next note we see is the half note, and it does have a stem. You notice the first half note, the stem is going up because it's below the 3rd line. When the stem goes up, it makes the letter D. It must be on the right-hand side of the circle. When the stem is going down, it's above that third line, and the stem is on the left-hand side of the note head. When you draw your half rest, it's going to sit on line 3. Make sure it doesn't touch that fourth line. If you make your whole rest or your half rest too big, it can be very difficult to tell which one it is. So that's why you only want to color in half of the space. The quarter note is a half note that's colored in. So our note head is colored in, and again, it has a stem. When it's below the middle line, the stem goes up. When it's above the middle line, the stem goes down. The quarter rest is a little more challenging to write. One of the ways that you can remember is write the letter Z or Z and put a little tiny C underneath. When you draw the quarter rest, start just around line number 4. This one does take practice to be able to write it correctly. The eighth note has our note head, it has a stem, and it has a tail or a flag. Remember what I said earlier, the flag must always be on the right-hand side of the stem. When you draw your eighth rest, you're starting in space number 3, and it really looks like a great big fancy number 7. The 16th note is 2 flags. And when you draw the 16th rest, what you're doing is you're adding another little part of the 7. Sometimes when you have 8th notes or 16th notes, you'll want to beam them together. What the beam is the line that joins all of those notes together. You can see on this slide, the beam serves the same function as a flag. So instead of having a flag for each of the notes, you just put a beam across them and join them together. When you're beaming notes together, there's a specific rule that you can use that's going to make it much easier. What you're going to do is use the third line rule to decide which direction the stems are going to go. When you look at all of the notes that are beamed together, find the one that's furthest away. Whatever the rule is for that note is going to apply for all of the notes that you're beaming together. In the first measure, you'll see the note that's furthest away is that A at the bottom. So the rule is that all of the note stems will go up because that's the furthest away, even though the F and the E and the F rule should be that those stems go down. But because that A is the furthest one away, all of the stems will go up when you beam them together. So just to review, notes are going to give you pitch. So therefore, notes have a note head that's going to be written on the line or the space that gives you the pitch. Rests don't have pitch. Therefore, rests are always in the same position on the staff. And the position of the rests on the staff is the same whether you're in the treble clef or the bass clef. When you're writing your music, rests must be treated like notes. In other words, what you're really doing is you're substituting a rest, but it has to have the same number of beats. Follow the line 3 rule when you're beaming your notes together. If you remember all of this, then you'll be wonderful at writing all of your notes and all of your rests. So now you can get your homework done, practice writing all the different types of notes, practice your stem rules, make sure that you have D's and P's when you're writing your stems, and practice beaming your notes together. And then we'll be ready for our next module. Have a super duper week. Bye.